Hi gang, and welcome to another episode of Mr. Ed Makes, and in this episode I'll be going over my 13th or 14th paint pour, and wanted to just kind of update you on how I'm progressing with this. Now, a dozen or so pours really isn't a lot, but I have learned a lot, and I'm still using the same basic materials. I haven't gone with the Floetrol or the dimethicone, and I'm sticking to inexpensive canvas panels instead of like a nice giant stretched canvas or something like that. Eventually, once I get this down, I want to go really big with lots and lots of paint, but I don't want to just go through that and waste resources for something that's going to be mediocre. I have to tell you, of the 13 or 14 or however many it is that I've done, I only have a couple that are really worth anything to me, and even then they're not. There's lots of things that I wish I could have done better, so I've been trying to improve that. So I'm going to give you some tips real quick here about some of the things that I've learned that have helped me along the way, some of the things that I didn't realize really how important it was. So the very first thing is to just watch videos and familiarize yourself with the steps, and find artists who are good at explaining it to you or showing you in the video in the way that works well with you as an artist, because I did notice there are lots of really good artists that do this, and some of them aren't as good at explaining it, at least in the way that I understand, as others. Now that's just a thing with me, doesn't have any reflection on them, but just find an artist that works well with you in your style of thinking, and you'll do better that way. Because for me, it was a little bit distracting watching some of the videos, and I missed some really important things. Like, one of the most important things that I think I learned was to be patient and wait. When I flip the cup, I wait a couple 2-3 minutes and just let things settle and meld and get to know one another, and ask about the weather and how their family's doing, and then pull the cup up carefully. And I think I'm going to try a different technique next time, because when I pull the cup up and the air rushes in, that sudden sploop causes some disturbances that I'd kind of want to avoid. So I thinking about popping the top of the cup and letting air in so that the paint just kind of runs out that way. So the way that you release the paint is important. The way that you stack the paints in the cup, you kind of want to be delicate about it, and let things get to know one another in an easy way. You just don't want to just dump it in there, pour it in there from 3 feet high like you're a barista or something. The other thing is the substrate, what I'm pouring on. I'm using a flat panel, but I would recommend, if you do use a flat panel, that before you put the paint on it, right before it, you spray the other side with some water, because the paint, it's going to warp, and that's going to create some pooling, or it's going to let the paint run off. And this leads me to the next big tip, is how to let the paint run off. Now, I was really careful to just let it set there and do its thing. But all my other pours, I had tried to cover all the edges and let it run in that. Well, that ruins the shapes. If you can just put enough paint on there to cover the area that you want to cover, and just leave it alone, not bother it. That's the thing I was doing, just bothering it, and let it do its thing, then it's going to do just that, and you're going to be more successful. And be sure that it sets on a level surface, and keep checking it carefully to make sure that it is level, because you're going to notice here in the fast video, the time-lapse video, how things run off over time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Stick around for the time-lapse that I had at the beginning. I'm going to put it here at the end, and you can see how this paint just kind of runs off and does its thing on its own. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, and until next time, you guys, take care.